Immunocastration, Dr. Pollmann. So what's the latest there from what you've been working on?
Well, when I retired a few years ago from Smithfield Foods, and you start to ask yourself, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, work to me was hobby. It was pleasure and it was enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided that I would continue to do some consulting work and work in areas that I was really intrigued with and felt like that there was some gaps.
Mm.
And back in my days at Smithfield, we started to use InfraVest and had just watched all the commotion that existed around that. And in many cases thinking it's such a good technology, but we've had so much pushback in that area. And so I have been working on that project for the last few years, and it's really exciting, and particularly now that the guilt approval has been accepted for temporary suppression of estrus.
Wow.
And then so how do you, and obviously the aspect of immunological castration for males and males still having testicles caused some uncertainty, particularly by the processing segment.
Right.
Tell you maybe a bit of a funny and interesting story. When we first started to talk about the use of the product, I was working with a colleague who was our primary pig buyer, and I was telling him that what would happen, and tried to explain the science and the benefits to an integrated system.
Mm-hmm.
And the pork buyer looked at me and he says, if they've got testicles, it's a $40 discount. What part of that don't you understand?
Oh.
And that was kind of the starting point in the discussion. It wasn't a matter of how functional the testicle was or how much testicular suppression we had.
Right.
Is the presence of a testicle was a discount.
Uh-huh.
And that was just the paradigm that we started with. And so it required a lot of effort. But I think today, it's been particularly interesting as I've had an opportunity to have some global experience with the product now. I've spent some time in Australia. I've interacted with the Thais, worked with the Europeans, worked with the Canadians. And it's a product that has such good science, and now just a matter of getting the value proposition worked out correctly and getting over the potential opposition to it, especially in the male. Now, the female doesn't require any kind of approval because it's viewed as like a vaccine. And with the male, it requires a certification process and an establishment and acceptance before it's allowed to, pigs can be purchased as an immunocastrate or what's called an IC barrel. So we've continued to work on what are the nutritional requirements, how do they differ, what is the timing of the pig's post-second dose and how that impacts it. And then where do you really see the value proposition?